the internet and I guess our fascination with fiends killed the sequel for this movie. Call Me by Your Name. I'm not even sure what year this sucker came out. 2017. I just finished watching this film. Watched it and just wanted to sit down. Going into watching this on HBO Max, I did research it because I remember this movie coming up around Oscar season, and everyone this movie. It was like Call Me by Your Name, and blue is the warmest color. Were these like LGBTQ brainwashing movies? These movies were supposed to brainwash. It doesn't do that, and maybe it's good that a lot of time had passed for me to watch this film. This film is, I do have to say, this film is a work. It's a piece. And our director, God, I love his name. I love trying to pronounce his name. Luca Guadagnino. This is our guy. He's a master of the craft. All systems are go. Let's do
Quiet
this.
on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
And welcome back to the show of shows, my AKA Powders. Please forgive me. This movie is a loaded gun, and sometimes to bring you just a perspective on something, I don't know which direction to go, because we have things like the internet, and the internet just interrupts a lot of our conversation around these films. Before we take any steps further, subscribe, support, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up. Wherever you listen to this, let me know you're out there. I do my very best. Now, this podcast is on so many different platforms, it's nearly impossible for me to track what comments are coming in where. But if you're on the platform that allows reviews, give me a honest review. I would appreciate that. So here we go. Call Me by Your Name. We went through this guy's movies before. He's the one that directed the modern day Suspiria. Since then, he is, in my view, he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy because in 2024 he came out with Challengers and he came out with Queer. Now, his movies are mostly erotic and they're mostly gay. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy that that I have to classify, but I do feel like classifying these as some of his movies as I won't even say gay. I would say like openly sexual films. They're a sign of the times, and he takes these sensibilities and he takes them forwards and backwards in times. Most recently, though, he did Challengers, and a lot of people said Challengers was one of the best films of the year. I haven't seen Challengers. I tried watching it. I didn't get too far just because things were happening around me. I do want to re-engage in that movie, but I do feel like what I saw, it didn't drive me to say this is Academy Award level nomination. I know people who enjoyed the movie. He came out with Queer. So and most recently, our director dropped. He dropped back-to-back movies. I love it when directors double tap, and that one has Daniel Craig. What I haven't brought us yet is Bones and All. So Timothy Chalamet, who was nominated this year for Parts Unknown or The Dark Unknown, that Bob Dylan biopic. Feel free to correct me. He collaborates again with this guy to make Bones and All. This is a vampire movie unlike any vampire movie. This is on my rewatch column. So I keep a couple columns in one of my notebooks to organize my. So it's like upcoming movies, a list of movies. So it's ones to do, it's upcoming, it's watched, and then it's rewatch. This is on my rewatch list because you guys hear from me a lot. I love the way how Bones and All is shot. Just the look of it all. It's so there. But he's known. This is a guy that's known, and he's not even making naughty movies. These are erotic movies. These are films that kind of trigger a want and a desire in us. Call Me by Your Name. The things I heard about this movie getting into it, it was a grooming movie. An older guy, played by Arnie Hammer, who right now has an HBO Max documentary on his cannibalism. Essentially, the internet, and dare we say, maybe a side of the internet that aggregates or feeds itself to me, because that's just the way the internet works, wants you to believe that this is a groomer movie, that this movie violates the trust of a young man, and he's manipulated by an older man. And it's not really that. There's a speech from the father at the end of this movie that helps you understand. Now, I awarded Pearl, Mia Goth at the end of the movie Pearl. When the credits roll, she is crying, and we don't cut away. I mean, it's acting at its absolute highest form. And some people say real acting is not crying on camera. I do, honor that. But Mia Goth's performance at the end credits of Pearl echoes the end credits for this movie, where Timothy Chalamet's character, I don't even remember the name of his character. He cries. He cries from the loss of Arnie Hammer. He deeply loved this individual. And as we're watching this movie, we get the scene where they almost do something. They almost do something. Now Chalamet's character, he's exploring sexuality with women too. So it's going both ways, right? This is what I mean. This is this is how some people want to view sex and how we express it. It's sexual expression. It really is. It's not LGBTQ. I don't think this movie follows any of those mandates or precepts. I believe this is a movie of desire. I think if this movie, if people had Roman helmets on, they would say this is what they were like back then, and everyone would be fine with it, which is crazy, right? But there's a scene where Arnie Hammer says, "I can't do this. Like I've been good. I've been behaving. I've been, I've been backing away from this, even though I feel something like between us." And I'm paraphrasing there. And at the end of the movie, we get a phone call, and Arnie's character is on the other end, and we learn that he's getting married to a woman. And this is all after the conversation with the father, because the father just clarifies the things he saw, the things he knew about this relationship within this movie. And the father basically says, like, I couldn't walk down that path, but you did. And there's something to be honored about that. There's something to be held up. There's something to understand. And it's not anything about homosexuality. This is about when we feel drawn towards people. And this happens through friendships. This is why friendships are so important. When we feel immensely close with someone, we want to express it. Isn't that crazy? And I know it seems like I'm saying that a lot this episode. It can even happen through the internet, right? Like, I mean, we see with all these simp scandals, all these simps sending these e-girls like endless money because they feel this deep connection. So we get both characters who swing both ways. They bat for both. Right, they're playing offense and defense, or they bat for both sides of the team or game. I guess there's a baseball analogy in there somewhere. But no, AKA Powders. This is a masterful movie by a masterful filmmaker. I am happy I saw this movie a little bit later than it premiered, because I heard so many weird negative things about this flick, and I'm happy to see it's not what it was. I think this movie is of a time, and when it comes to the sequel, the internet and their fascination with these leaked text messages from Armie Hammer, and I'm not 100% into his accusations in his case, but he had his whole career canceled and never to be brought back. And we watched this movie, and he portrays this character as such a free spirit, but it's a free spirit of restraint. And we see it a couple times in these dance sequences, and we see what he does to people and what he's able to do with people while he's in this free spirit spiral. And why in the beginning of the movie he was trying to put himself in a cage, he was trying to contain himself, because he knows it's almost like a drug for him. He knows what can happen, he knows what he can do, and he wants to spare people from heartbreak and heart wrench. And that's why in the movie he comes off as nonchalant and a little bit honest, because he's been through it, and he knows everything that our protagonist, Timothée Chalamet's character, is going to go through. In a way, potentially that was him at a younger time. To get these things from a movie and to understand what everything I just explained to you from a character proves how masterful of a film this is. So we have Luca Guadagnino, and I need to see some of his other movies. He directed a movie called The Protagonist. Melissa P. I Am Love. A Bigger Splash. I believe he has what's called like this trilogy. Let me just go through the Desire trilogy, which is let's see if I can get these three movies. The Desire. I don't know what films he's made. I'm trying to go through his Wikipedia. Not that it matters. He has a handful of films. I think next up is we will discuss the 2022 Bones and All from this guy. And yes, we will discuss Challengers. One of his two most recent films. We did Cespera on this podcast for the 31 Days of Dread, and his Cesperia is holy crap. That's one of the greatest remakes of all time. So AKA Powders, rock and roll. I love you guys, and thanks for going through this episode, because I know a little bit of my core audience may not be into. If you made it this far, thank you.
Okay, that's a wrap.